of the components. Okay, that's the point. Out of this one, so important is what is CPU, what is RAM and ROM, difference between RAM and ROM. Okay, difference between RAM and ROM, volatile, non-volatile memory kind of stuff. Okay, so next one is what is BIOS? What is BIOS? Basic input output system. Okay, so next nowadays we are using UEFI instead of BIOS. We are using UEFI, Unified Extensible Firmware Interface. It is a new version of BIOS available in 64-bit processors, 64-bit based computers. Okay, so means BIOS is based on a motherboard. So on motherboard you have a BIOS chip directly. It is look like different BIOS chips are there, guys. AMI BIOS, Phoenix BIOS, okay, and Dell BIOS, Lenovo BIOS. So not only a computer manufacturer, different manufacturers also manufacture this BIOS chip. Once they manufacture BIOS chip according to the motherboard manufacturer, so they will input a data inside. And these BIOS chips are not just ROM, it is a EPROMs. Means we can read, we can write, we can replace the content in the BIOS chip. BIOS is nothing but a program inside your EPROM chip. It is called a firmware. What is the use of this firmware? When you start your computer, the first program is loaded from the BIOS only. So if you need a program, right? So CPU ask to run a program, so that it will be loaded from your BIOS only. Your BIOS will recognize your hardware devices. BIOS locate and loads the operating system. Okay, where is the operating system? Is be mentioned in a BIOS boot priority. So based on this boot priority, it is try to locate is the device having an operating system or not. It will check one by one device. So once it is found an operating system, it tell to the processor operating system is available here. You can load the operating system from that device. Okay, so when you power on your system, so first responding program is your BIOS only. Okay, so your BIOS is also like during a boot up, like when you press the power button, there is a test called a power on self test. Someone is removing you. No. I don't. I am the controller now. Nothing. No one is remaining. All guests only. Some app related problem.
Again and again. Moving me.
Okay. Maybe it is a app related problem.
But what
So like this, we can remove from meeting. Can I able to see my screen, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there is a test called a power on self test. It means when you power on your system, first of all, power supply go to all the devices. So the devices, once it is active, they will tell their information to the BIOS. So the primary devices are up, means like a CPU, RAM, some chipsets, like everything is okay, then post is successful. If post is successful, it go to the next phase, like a locating operating system, loading operating system will happens. So that process we call it as a boot processing. So we'll come back to the boot processing again. We'll continue this one. So in your BIOS, you have a data like permanent data is there and temporary settings also there. Some are temporary things are there, like date and time is temporary. So once date and time is set, it runs the date and time. And to protect your hardware, to if anybody can change, it's like you have a computer, someone is go to BIOS settings, they want to change the settings in the BIOS, like enabling, disabling kind of stuff. So what we can do it, we can put a password for that one, BIOS password. You can go to BIOS settings. You can go to BIOS settings. What happened? Okay. Okay. So BIOS, in the security button, you can go to security button. There you can give the password. What is this password? To protect your BIOS settings from any person want to change the settings, like enabling, disabling features, kind of stuff. Okay. Okay. This is the BIOS password protect. There is a two type of password, like admin password, user password, like a supervisory password, user password. To change any settings, you need to know what is the supervisory password. User password to see the settings only. We cannot change with the user password. This password stores in your BIOS chip. So in your BIOS chip, the few temporary things like a date and time, password, settings, boot priorities. Okay, these are a temporary changes. Okay, if it is a temporary, it means when power is gone, like you shut down your computer, these settings will be gone. Okay, these settings will be gone. So what will happen? So if, for example, if you may not know, nowadays we are using a smart mobiles. In the earlier days we use a feature mobile phones, means normal mobile phones. So whenever you disconnect a battery in the mobile phone, so you are using a mobile phone, you set everything like a date and time, you are set in kind of stuff, right? So you have set date and time and all. Now what happened? You remove the battery. When you remove the battery, what happens? Your date and time is goes back. You remove the battery and reinsert the battery, and you power on. It shows the date and time goes back to the factory defaults. So when the manufacturer of that mobile phone, okay, put a reset kind of stuff, like factory default settings are there. It go back to the factory default settings. And data like missed call data, your call data also will be, means that is also temporary. That is not storing any place. It is stores in the temporary in your mobile phone. When you remove the battery, the recent call data, missed calls, received calls, okay, dialed calls will be removed. Your contact list is safe. Messages in the SIM card is safe. Okay, but remaining thing is going to go to factory default settings. So similarly, your computer, when power is off, okay, the power supply not going to your BIOS chip, so that these settings will be go to factory default settings. Okay, so then how to protect it? So we are using a battery. The battery is 3 volts lithium battery. The battery is 3 volts lithium battery. Okay, the supply from the power supply from the 3 volts lithium battery is it is keep providing a power supply to your BIOS chip. So even if you shut down your computer, the BIOS passwords, date and times, settings will keep alive, and the date and time also keep running. Date and time also keep running. You know, after usage of a computer for a almost like a 2 years, 3 years, the battery charge will be completed. So that the charge will be discharged. So almost 3 volts battery become a 0. Okay, like a 1.5, 1.2, 1 volt, 0 volt, like that it will go. So once the charge is completed, it's not rechargeable battery, right? So when the battery will be come longer period of time because it's lithium. Okay. So the battery once it is drained, then automatically you'll get an error. That is called a BIOS checksum error or CMOS checksum error. CMOS check error. So it is shows like this. You can see this kind of stuff in world computers generally. So it will show checksum error. It is the possibility this kind of stuff maybe because of your BIOS chip problem, or one of the thing is your BIOS battery problem. Okay, so you have to know what is the checksum error, what is the error codes it is showing. Compulsory note down and verify. Most possible like a your BIOS battery problem also there. In that case is what you will do it. Okay, see this is correct one. So checksum error default loaded. Checksum error bad is different, but default loaded means it is a BIOS battery related. So what you have to do it? Go to the market, purchase this battery, purchase the battery, new battery, replace the battery, and do the date and time, passwords and settings again, and you can continue work on it. Okay, so that is a important. Okay, so this battery also called as CMOS battery. Some people call it as a BIOS battery, some people call it as a CMOS battery. When we are learning about the computers in a olden days, people tell it is a BIOS CMOS battery, and immediately CMOS abbreviation, complementary metal oxide semiconductor. So we thought it is battery is made up of complementary metal oxide semiconductor material. Okay, but really it is a lithium battery. What is this CMOS, guys? It is a MOSFET. It is a MOS means MOSFET, metal oxide semiconductor, FET, FET, field effective transistor. So it is a transistor. MOS means it is a MOSFET. It is a transistor. Two type of MOSFETs are there: NMOS, PMOS. NMOS is there, PMOS is there. The combination of NMOS and PMOS is called as CMOS. That's it is complementary. Two MOSes are there, NMOS, PMOS combination is a CMOS. In our computers, including your CPU, RAM, BIOS, okay, on motherboard chipsets, most of them are built based on a CMOS technology. CMOS technology. But from so many years, like your BIOS is a CMOS chip, and this battery is supporting to a CMOS chip, then people call them as a CMOS battery. Then this is noted as a CMOS battery. So if you want to go and buy a battery from the market, you go to the computer shop, you ask lithium battery, they don't give. You have to ask CMOS battery or a BIOS battery, or bring your old battery there. So they will see the number on it, then maybe they will give you new battery. The battery cost is around 10 rupees. It is cheaper than 10 rupees, but you'll get in 10 rupees only. Maximum 20 rupees. Maximum, if they want to put a price, that is 20 rupees. You know, last time I went to a shop, that is some Xerox shop and all, they have these batteries. Asked them, I want one battery. He said, it is a 50 rupees. I said, I don't want it. Okay. So that's people, even it is a 10 rupees battery, selling it 50 rupees. Because he think I don't know, maybe. Or he think what are the thing coming out of his mouth, he will tell. That type of people also there. So I don't know you people which area you are belongs to it. If you are belongs to Hyderabad or once in a while you are came to Hyderabad, so there is a market in Amirpet as well as Secunderabad, big computer market is there. So go to computer market, you can inquiry the computer components, the basic components and all. Okay. So again guys, this is the lithium battery, 3 volts battery supporting to our BIOS. It keep providing, it powers our BIOS chip to keep the data like a, to run the date and time continuously, keep your BIOS passwords and settings. You know, there is some people will give ideas, right? You know, already every batch I told this kind of stuff is like be aware of this very smart people. Dumb people are no problem, but people act like they are smart. Okay, really they don't verify things. Without verification, they will give us statements. So point is, guys, again, if you remove this battery and reset the battery again, you remove the battery, the data in the BIOS will be resetted. Once you set back this battery, okay, it will continue again. You have to configure. So along with the data, the BIOS password also will go. BIOS password also will get cleared. So it will be resetted. Again, you have to set it back. Okay. But people idea is I forget my operating system password. I turn on my computer. On my computer, like a Windows is loaded. It is showing, it is asking username and password. It is asking a password. So I have to type the password. I forget the password. And I ask my friend, like a, the smart guy, like that kind of stuff, people, and he will give an idea. You forget a password. It is very simple, it is very, lot of people don't know this thing. I will tell you the secret. Open your cabinet, remove the BIOS battery and reinsert the BIOS battery again. The password will be clear. Maybe he learned from someone like that. He's telling that answer. Nowadays, people also don't know that one. In my days, the people telling that answers. Guys, this BIOS battery will clear BIOS password, not your operating system password. Okay, not your operating system password. You forget your operating system password. Okay, your Windows password. There is another methods may be available, but don't, not this BIOS battery resetting. Don't help. It won't help any kind of stuff. Okay, to go to this BIOS settings, when you are restart your computer at the time of just restarting, or you power down your system and power on, when you press the power button, immediately start pressing the BIOS key. If you don't know the BIOS key, when you start your computer, just see sharply in the bottom it shows F1 to go to setup, F10 to go to boot menu, that kind of stuff. Which key is go to setup key, F1 or F2, F3, or maybe it is a escape or a del. Okay, it will tell you which key is, you can go to the thing. So like this, it is F1 to setup. Okay, kind of stuff. It will shows F1 to setup kind of stuff. But now in generally, when you start your system, okay, so these are the BIOS kind of stuff. So sometimes you have to press F9, depends upon your BIOS manufacturer. So you have to press the key, then it will lead it to like this. See, it is a computer. It's not showing properly. So in the top, it is showing which key to go to BIOS setting. Okay. Sometimes in bottom it shows which key to go to BIOS settings. Okay. And the bottom also it will shows which key to go to BIOS settings. Sometimes del means delete button. Sometimes it is F2 like this, like this. Okay. It will show how to go to BIOS settings. Sometimes it won't show. Sometimes directly it will boot. Okay. That is a little pollen. So then you have to change some settings in your PC for delaying booting. Okay. So or otherwise some other options also available. We'll see that one later. Okay. F2 to enter the setup. Depends upon your BIOS manufacturer. The BIOS key will be different. And the BIOS screen is also different. Like, see, it is like this or like this. Different screens are there. Okay, different type of screens. Okay, so based on a BIOS manufacturer, company of laptop or a desktop, your motherboard or BIOS manufacturer, the BIOS key is different. First of all, you search in a Google, what is the BIOS key for your laptop? Like you are using Dell laptop, you are using a HP laptop, HP particular version of laptop. First of all, try to find out what is your laptop model and then what is the BIOS key for it. Then use the BIOS key to go to BIOS settings. There you can able to see things. If you want to change settings, you can change it. If you know how to change it, do it. Otherwise, don't do it. Okay. You can check the system configuration from BIOS also possible. Okay. So this is about your BIOS, which is I didn't complete last part. Okay. So that is we'll see. Guys, next one is a motherboard. Motherboard is a main circuit board or a PCB. Okay, all components, all computer components, whether it is internal or external, is connected to your motherboard only. Without a motherboard, we can't connect anything. Like we install a CPU on motherboard, we insert a RAM on motherboard, your BIOS chip is on motherboard, your audio chip is on motherboard, you insert a graphic card on motherboard, you insert audio cards on motherboard. Okay, you will connect devices like a keyboard, monitor, mouse to the back panel of motherboard. You insert a power supply from SMPS. You give power supply from SMPS. Okay, like this. So different slots parts are there of a motherboard. So here it is. It's a one of the very old motherboard. You can see new motherboard pictures also available. CPU sockets, north bridge, south bridge. Now this is a memory slots. So this is the bars are there now. These are memory slots, power connectors. Okay, PCA slots, AGP slots, back panel connections. These are the RAM slots where you put a RAM slot, RAM. Okay. These are the back panel connections. Like a PS/2 mouse is there earlier, now also coming. So now it is integrated, not two PS/2s, both are integrated into one only. Either you can connect one single mouse or a single keyboard. Okay, next your monitor connector. So 15 pin VGA connector it is. It's a serial port, parallel port. Your RJ45 connector, USB connectors, audio connectors. Okay, speakers, mic connectors. So these are the different type of connectors. This is a one new kind of motherboard. It is I taken a screenshot of from it. Okay, so it is a black side. You can see this is the black bars are for RAM slots. This particular black one is belongs to, it's a completely black. Okay, if it is a white and color no problem. It is SMPS 20 power connection, CPU slot. This is AGP slot, BIOS battery. Okay, front panel connections also there. In a back panel, you are getting a PS/2. One is like a VGA connector, HDMI connector, eSATA connector, USB 3.0, USB 2.0, LAN connection, and audio mic speakers line in connections. Okay, so these are the components on your motherboard. Guys, next one is in a computer, very important one is your SMPS. Switch mode power supply. What it will do? Our main power supply is 220 volts, 50 hertz frequency. Our main power supply, our plug points are there now. We are getting 220 volts. AC power supply means it has a sine wave, 50 hertz frequency, sine wave is there. But electronic components like your mobile phones, laptops, computers, TVs, electronic components works with a DC power supply. That's why we are purchasing charger, SMPS chargers, right? So we are purchasing chargers to get a DC power supply to charge your mobile phones, laptop chargers. Okay, even nowadays we are getting new LED, LCD TVs are there. So that is also we are getting some separate power connector, not directly connecting kind of stuff. Even you connect a direct main power supply to the TV, internally there is a SMPS is there. It will convert your AC to DC power supply. Okay, AC alternate current, DC direct current. Okay, last time I heard one guy is telling like he got some problem and he said, so there are giving current. So then for curing his issue, problem is health issue. So there are means the hospital people giving current. And he said like if to trust more, to get more thing like there are giving a direct current. So direct current means, again it's like people don't question direct current means, his meaning is directly from the main power supply. Okay, his meaning is direct main power supply, it's he cannot able to bear. So that's a little different from this DC power supply. Okay, AC is a sine wave, it has a certain frequency, means using certain period plus minus will be changes. DC never changes, either it is plus voltage or minus voltage. Okay, so SMPS get a power supply from main power supply, it converts AC to DC. Not only one single DC voltage, multiple DC voltages we are getting. Plus 12 volts, minus 12 volts, plus 5 volts, minus 5 volts, 3.3 volts, plus 3.3 volts we are getting. Okay, so in generally we are using SMPS. From SMPS to motherboard connection is 24 pin connector. Nowadays we are using 24. Earlier 20 plus 4. Sometimes 4 is optional there. 4 may not be. But later on days we are using 24 pin connector. Each cable is color coded. Each color meaning is certain voltage. Okay, so you can see the green color, the represent power on. Like you press the power button, it will give the power on part, like it will try to connect that power on, it power on the SMPS. That is green one. The black one is ground. The red one is plus 12 volts. Yellow one is plus yellow one is plus 12 volts. Red one is plus 5 volts. Okay, so there is some orange color thing is there, that is plus 3 volts. Okay, blue one is minus 12 volts. Minus 5 volts will be there. I am unable to see that one. Okay, next, every SMPS has a wattage. A wattage rating is there, like a 200 watts, 500 watts, 600 watts, 700 watts SMPSs are there. And also, before you purchase SMPS, you have to check with your motherboard connections. This motherboard is 80 or 80X. Is it a 20 pin or 24 pin? Okay, and motherboard sometimes having a additional pin structure. See, it's a 6 pin connector is there. So in old motherboards we have a 4 pin connector. Some motherboards having a separate 4 pin power supply connector. Some are having 6-pin, some are having 8-pin connector. So the additional pin connectors also you have to take. So 24-pin connector, single connector must be there, and 4+4 pin connector, or a 4+2 connector, or 4-pin connector. You have to check it, and you have to select SMPS based on their wattage also. Meaning is your system consumes lot of power, right? Motherboard takes some power, CPU takes some power, hard disk takes some power, your keyboard, mouse, monitor, okay, and graphic cards, RAM. So it utilizes the power, right? So total utilization of power. For example, total utilization is 400 watts. Better to put a 500 watts one, 450, 500, or 600 wattage. Little higher, not very higher, but little higher. So 400 watts consumption. Power consumption by your computer components is 400 watts. Then use 450, 500, like that. Little more than what power supply is consuming. Little more, not required like a 1 kV. I will put it. No, last time I thought it is better to put a higher. Then I purchase a 650 watts power supply. 600 or 650, I didn't remember, but I purchase a power supply like that. Okay. So based on your system, you have to purchase your SMPS. So this is about your SMPS, guys. So this connection, that's what are the connection it is showing outside, that is go for a main power supply. Okay. The wiring it is coming right. So this big one is going to motherboard. This is also go to motherboard. The remaining is going based on your like a Molex connectors are there, 4-pin connector, 7-pin connector. Okay, for your hard disk, CD-RAM. If you have a floppy disk, then floppy disk type of connector is also there. Okay, now it is floppy disk we are not using. Okay, some graphic cards also required additional power supply. Graphic cards, once you are inserted, it take the power from your motherboard only. So means SMPS to motherboard, motherboard to graphic card. Sometimes graphic cards also required to get a power supply separately from your SMPS, directly from SMPS. That time also you have to check your SMPS power connections. Okay, there is some times you can use the converters also, guys. So these are motherboard and SMPS. We discussed about a primary memory. What are the primary memory things? RAM and ROM. What is the main memory? RAM. Okay. Then this is the secondary memories. Secondary memory or secondary storage devices. Primary storage devices are RAM and ROM. Secondary storage devices are your hard disk, CD-RAM, floppy disk, tape drives, zip drives. There all comes under secondary memory storage. CD, DVD, Blu-ray, these are all comes under optical storages. Means we read and write the data using a optical beam from the some laser light will be there. We can write the data and read the data from CD, DVD and Blu-ray. That is why it is called as a optical storage. So magnetic storages. Magnetic storages are basically hard disk. In a hard disk, yeah, this is how hard disk is look like. Can you see that is a plotter, the cylinder one, like the plate like this, round one. The round one is called a plotter. The plotter is actually some kind of aluminum alloy kind of stuff. Okay, and it is coated with a magnetic coat. It is coated with a magnetic. So you can read and write data on it. It is a kind of non-volatile, means even your power is off, data won't gone. Okay, so non-volatile permanent storage memory. You can read the data, you can write the data, you can delete the data as per your requirement. there is an arm. You can see there is a needle kind of stuff that is called a actuator arm. It move inside to outside, okay, in and out, like it will read and write the data on this platter. Okay, so that is the magnetic disk. Of course, floppy disk are not using nowadays. Okay, but still floppy disk. The two type of floppy disk are there. So one is 3.5 inch, that is around 1.44 MB storage. So olden days we are using floppy disk also, but now that much 1.44 MB. For that one, who will purchase 15-20 rupees floppy disk, and it will be damaged every time. Okay, so we are having lot of pen drives are came into market, memory cards are there. So, and almost like if you take any picture also more than 1 MB. Okay, so floppy disks are become very less. Next is tape drives. Tape drives are using for a backup purpose, to store the backup of a server or a computer. You want to store a backup in a place, like a better is tape drives, because tape drives are cheaper, so you can easily store the data in the tape drives. Zip drives are now I don't know whether we are using or not, because I'm almost all disconnected from that field. Okay, so I've seen zip drives actually. Um, some organization or a college, there is a 50 computers are there. You have to install operating system in the all 50 computers. What these people will do, they'll take one PC and they install operating system, applications, drivers, everything they will set. Then they will connect this zip drive. Okay, they clone what are the system content. They'll put in the image format to the zip drive. Okay, so what happens? So they'll connect this zip drive to other PCs, one by one PC. They just say copy. Like in a olden days, if you take XP, it take minimum 40 minutes to install the operating system. Using zip drives, they can finish the installation in a 15 to 20 minutes maximum. Minimum 40 minutes to maximum 20 minutes. Okay, installation. So faster they can able to install. Okay, so that is the use of zip drives. So what is the use of this secondary storage devices, like a hard disk kind of stuff, to store your operating system applications? Like you're using hard disk. What is the use of hard disk? To store operating system applications, data like your music, videos, documents kind of stuff. The hard disk, like mostly the hard disk inside your system is a SATA type of hard disk, PATA type of hard disk also there. Okay, and also now we are using SSDs and pen drives, USB external hard disk also we are using to store the data. But internal hard disk or internal SSDs are used to store operating system and applications. This is different. This point are different, guys. Here, yeah, we'll start from here. Already I told hard disk. Hard disk is look like this one. So this is internal parts of hard disk. Hard disk having a earlier days we are using IDE type. This IDE is developed into ATA type of connectivity, data transmission technology. ATA means advanced technology attachment. So then first one is parallel ATA, PATA. PATA means parallel advanced technology attachment. This PATA contains this kind of logic board to connect to the motherboard. We use this kind of ribbon cable. It contains a 40 pin connector. So PATA having a 40 pin connector, okay, to connect and transmitting the data from your motherboard to your hard disk and hard disk to motherboard. Next type is SATA, serial advanced technology attachment. the data connector is 7-pin connector like this. It's a 7-pin connector. It's a single cable 7-pin connector. To connect your hard disk to your motherboard, we use this kind of cables. Okay. So currently we are using SATA type of connectivity for a hard disk. So SATA is faster than PATA, and PATA further development is not there. Only we are using, once SATA came into market, PATA type of interface technology is not developed. So only SATA interface technology is developed, and SATA 1, SATA 2, SATA 3 also came into market. SATA 3 is around 6 Gbps data transmission speed. Okay. Of course, this is different. Okay. So we'll stop at hard disk. Okay. These are the SATA and PATA hard disk. So can we continue or not? I don't know. Yeah, we have a hard disk, right? Yes. These are the main components, guys. So what are the components? Again, the storage part is different. So then when you have a hard disk, then also you must know about a SSDs. Okay. So we discuss about CPU, RAM, ROM, motherboard, hard disk, SSD. What is the difference between hard disk and SSD? Okay. Hard disk having a components like I have shown in a picture. Hard disk having a multiple components inside, like a hard disk. Okay, so like this, different components are there inside a hard disk. Okay, so it required a motor to run this plotter, and this having a permanent magnet using that electromagnetic thing. So it will move this header from inside to outside like this. It move this needle header inside to outside, and it is little weight. Okay, normal hard disk having a weight is higher than a SSDs. 3.5 inch SSD, sorry, 3.5 inch hard disk, 3.5 inch hard disk for a desktop, So you can see this is, so the thicker one. This type of hard disk for a desktops. For laptops, we are using 2.5 inches, 2.5 inch hard disk. Okay, 2.5 inch hard disk. So we can think like a hard disk related to comparing hard disk to SSD. Hard disk is heavy, and a hard disk contains this magnetic material, plotters and all. You know, when any shock is happen, means you lose from your hand, it is fall from your hand, even it is a one single feet, there is a lot of possibility hard disk will be damaged. Okay, so the possibility of hard disk can be damaged, the data you cannot able to recover sometimes. Okay, so it is heavy and it is loose parts. You know, if you order a hard disk online, there is no guarantee it work or not. Okay, because it has to go like from one place to another place, transport and all, right? So it will means, you know, sometimes it will securely you can receive, sometimes you may not get securely. There's a lot of shaking and all will happen. It possible internal damage will occur. Possible internal damage may occur. Okay, so next one is, it is a big in size. Weight than it is weight is compared to SSD, it is little higher. Okay, and the data read and write speed is lesser than SSD, lesser than SSD. Then what is the advantage of SSD? What is the advantage of SSD? Okay, see, it is the size is also very small. SSD is compared to the size, weight, okay, and data transmission SSD is a better. Next, in SSD, two type of variants are there. One is SATA type, another one is so we'll go to SSDs. See, SSDs, this is exact picture. It is having a only the chipsets, only direct chipset. It's a NAND memory. SSD is a NAND memory. It is having a only a chip kind of stuff inside. Okay, so this is NAND NVMe non-volatile memory type. Okay, NVMe M.2 type of SSD. So you want to buy a SSD for your desktop, for example, or you are want to put a SSD like you want like you are a gaming person or you are running a heavy application. Now you want a SSD. Check on your motherboard. Do you have a direct SSD connection like a NVMe.M.2? Can you able to connect it or not? Okay. So why? Because of this SSD is faster than this SATA connector SSD. Both are non-volatile, NAND memory kind of stuff. Both are NAND memories only. Both are having chipsets. But this SATA SSD is a SATA connector. Like you want to replace your laptop hard disk with a SSD, you can go to SATA SSD. It is useless, but still, it is your wish. Okay, I'm not preferring that one. Okay, you want to purchase a new desktop and you want SSD inside, then go for this one. My opinion is instead of purchasing this SSD, this SATA SSD, purchase a normal hard disk, purchase regular hard disk, because of the SSD cost wise it is heavy. SSD cost is higher as compared to normal hard disk. Okay, there is a benefits, there is a lesser the benefits. So SSD cost is 3000. So you will get around 240 GB for 3000 rupees. Okay, you will get almost 3500. You will get a 1 terabyte of regular hard disk. 3500 will get a regular hard disk 1 terabyte. So how much difference? 240 GB to 1 terabyte. You want to buy 1 terabyte of SSD, it is around 8000 9000 rupees. Okay, so the SSD cost is very high. Lesser power supply also there. Less power supply, less space occupation, lighter weight. You can carry to any place. Faster read and write is there. But still depends upon utilization kind of stuff. Next one, guys. SSDs are, if you are using a SSD, if you are having a desktop and you want to use SSD, put one SSD and put one regular hard disk. Why regular hard disk? SSD will give you fast booting, fast loading applications. Okay, you want you are running an application or you are want a faster booting speed. So SSDs are best. So even for a servers, last time I showed a servers, right? Tower server, rack servers and all. For loading an operating system in the servers or a regular desktops also, SSDs are suitable for operating systems and applications. But regular data, it is better to keep in regular hard disk only. Why? Regular hard disk are cheaper and bigger hard disk we can able to get it like a 1 terabyte of hard disk, 2 terabyte of hard disk. You can store the data. You don't require more speed to read and write the data. So you need a speed for your application and operating system. For your application and operating system, you can use SSD. Okay, without writing anything, I completed. I don't know how many people are understand. Guys, understand difference between hard disk and SSD?
Yes, sir.
At least few
Yes,
points, 4 5 points.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
Actually, I didn't write a separate notes for that one. If I wrote, I have a notes in separate PPT. Okay, so not in this PPT. Just only I note down only these 2 points only. That's okay. So compulsory. Check it. What is the difference between hard disk and SSD? You want to check better way? Then I will tell you one more better way is go to Amazon, Flipkart, kind of stuff, and you can get more details, clear-cut details, cost-related details, connectivity related, speed transmission details. You will get it. Okay. So it is how much? It is around 1 TB. It is 10,000. 10,000, 1 TB of this SSD. Okay, you want to store a data, normal regular data with 10,000 rupees or 3,000, 4,000 rupees. Huh? Right? That's the point I'm trying to say.
नहीं
Going to hard disk.
मुझे पढ़ना है
You see, this is external hard disk. When 1.5, 1 TB, 3,700 external hard disk. If you go to internal hard disk, little cheaper than that one. This is external hard disk. So compulsory, better to keep one external hard disk also, guys. Why? Because of you have any unnecessary data or some not required to store in your computer data, you can store in externally. So it is showing an external hard disk. That's why it is a problem. The internal hard disk, desktop. Tower servers, mini towers, all-in-one PCs, stick PCs. These are all there. So you can see under desktops, anything. No. Any other stuff. So not online. Select any. Okay, direct to hard disk. Direct to PC it is. Sorry, this is better. Get it from the list. See, it is how much it is. 2 TB internal hard disk. 2 TB internal hard disk is 4,299. Okay, after discount. Okay, 2 TB internal hard disk, desktop internal hard disk. So better store the normal data into the hard disk. That's the point I'm trying to say. Okay, and hard disk related information is also there, like partitions, MBR, GPT, file system is also here. Okay, I want to tell that one, so then only I can able to tell about a boot processing. And if you tell a boot processing, then only we can able to discuss about a what we can say booting related issues at the time of boot. What kind of issues we are getting, that is also we can able to discuss. So what I'm going to do is, guys, just I'll going to stop recording now.